Welcome to Neutral Voices. I'm Dr. V, and this is In Depth, where we dig deep in the trenches of what matters. And that was a pretty ugly graphic,
Yeah.
but it was powerful. What do you feel about that?
I don't think it was ugly.
You don't think it was ugly?
No.
You think it was appropriate?
It's very appropriate because chess is a game of life.
I know you always make a connection and you
Yeah,
use
because
chess quite a bit.
yeah, I love chess. I'm not the greatest player of chess, but I understand the game
Yeah.
and I understand the concept. To me, chess is a conversation piece.
Okay.
So when you look at that chessboard and understand how the pieces are moved, now you got the pieces. Now here's the biggest thing about it.
About
It's
that image.
here is who's moving the pieces
Okay.
and how they're moving the pieces.
Exactly.
So you can't say, okay, that board set an image,
Yeah.
and if you looked at the hands,
Especially the hands.
if you look at the hands on that image, it would show you evil is moving the pieces.
Okay, which leads me to this. This is Neutral Voices, and tonight our in-depth show is about evil versus good, and we're going to be having some amazing conversation. And I believe we're gonna learn quite a bit. Now, I have to tell y'all, when you say can good exist without evil, right away. Okay, I'm telling you, I didn't even like our title when we put evil in front of good. You remember I had an issue with that.
Right.
But as I thought about our reasoning, evil seemed to be more prevalent.
Yeah, the most
today.
prevalent power today. Yes.
That it seems like that's what is always talked about, and that's what we always see. And so, so the title would be befitting.
Yes.
And so that image, and so Eve, and when you talked about that, the whole manipulating and the control is what I see. And so I think about when we talk about protect your mind, our minds today are being manipulated by things. Look,
Yes.
by things, and we don't even realize it. So, as we talk about or think about music and the things we read and the things we watch, different movies, conversation with people, our minds are being controlled. So when I saw that picture, I'm like, wow, that's powerful.
You said something at the beginning. You said, what you said, quote, you said,
What I say, can good exist?
yeah, could good
Can
exist?
good exist without evil?
Now, my question is this.
The question with
Yeah, the question is for the question is, and who eyes what is evil and what is good?
Okay.
That's the biggest question, because what might be evil to me might be good to you.
Like for instance, give me an example, because we got so much we got to bring to the table tonight.
I'm just saying who eyes.
Look,
Everybody has their own perception, right?
And I
Yeah, but I want you to hit me with something
I'm
heavy.
go-
I'm
I'm
go- I'm go
with
how we
you on
gonna
that.
do it
I'm gonna
tonight.
ask you a question. Okay.
Here he come. 2 questions after my
No, I'm just going. You said give you an example.
I got
To
one.
you,
Me too.
to you, selling drugs might be good.
No, to me.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm
As
giving
an
you an
example.
example.
Okay, I got you.
Because you're feeding your family, you
Because you're
provide
feeding
for
your family,
Yeah.
you're
Okay.
providing for your family. To me, I think it's a cop out.
Okay. All right.
So you have to look at it in the eyes of the perspective of that person
Okay. Or the circumstance.
or the
Okay.
circumstance.
Okay. Jill, you said you got one.
So when I think of that question, certain cultures, the Aztecs, for instance, they did human sacrifice. So just hearing human sacrifice to us, that's like, or to most people, that's like that's completely evil. But they did it as a ritual there's several, something about the crops, the drought, secure the crops. So to them, that was something that was beneficial.
Yeah, but when you say that, are you saying that they actually sacrificed
They
their
actually
life?
sacrifice
Yeah.
humans.
They
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. So they sacrificed their life
Correct.
so that they could continue to have food from day to day? Or?
Yes, it was actually to secure the favor of the gods in their eyes and to avoid drought and secure the crop. So to them, this was something they had to do in order to right. So they didn't see it as evil.
Hold on. I'm finna backdoor that one. I'm sorry, Jill.
But
you listen.
They really did that.
Well,
They really did that.
They did that, but here's the thing about it. Just because they did it because they felt that they had to do it.
Right.
That don't mean that they felt that it was right.
Okay.
That's a great point.
Okay.
But
I
yeah,
see what you're saying.
exactly.
I see where you're going.
Okay.
So, like I
That's
said,
something to put on the
it's a
shelf.
perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I need to write that down, but I won't. But that's true, because it's kind of like sometimes with a child, they are trying to be obedient, meaning to be good, and they may do some things that parents ask them to do, even though in their spirit
Right.
they
They don't
feel
feel
like
that
that's
it's not
wrong.
right.
That's
Right.
wrong
Right.
to do that,
Right.
Mama.
Like if he was saying,
Yeah.
but I got another example of
Okay.
where you go to
Yeah.
say like I send a child in there to steal some bread.
That's exactly what I was saying.
You know,
I
you know,
said that's wrong, Mama.
That's absolutely wrong.
Or Daddy.
But to be even more wrong, it says obey your mother and father, or your
Your days to be short.
yeah. So you're doing what you are supposed to be doing, but yeah, it is wrong. So it's all in the eyes of the beholder. But Jill went further than what I thought with the Aztecs. I wasn't going to go that
Okay.
far. But I mentioned it last night. We were talking about the Tennessee legislator. There's a difference between what's right and what's doing what's right, and where he was saying in whose eyes. Now legally, in everything that is right, the Tennessee legislator had the right to do what they had to do or what they did to those young men. But was it the right thing to do? So that's the question where we talk about. So there's difference and there's levels, and I'm going to agree with E in his perception. But sometimes, and like you were just saying, if I'm stealing to feed my family, it's still stealing, but is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? So perception plays a lot into what people believe that it's good and evil.
Absolutely.
And so it when you say that, I'm obviously thinking about people that kill to protect. So you break in my house, etc. I shoot you, I kill you. Some people, especially the family,
Hold
you
on.
could have shot him in the knee. You could have XYZ. Okay, of course, but at the time I'm panic. I don't care about all of that. I'm not thinking about whether I'm gonna shoot you in the foot or I'm gonna shoot up in the ceiling to scare you. I'm trying to protect myself or my family.
Well, so I'm gonna jump just a little bit in biblically.
There you go.
Biblically.
Gotcha.
We got you.
I did that on purpose, but
Bibliography.
somewhere in Psalms
Somewhere
it
in
says
Psalms.
there's a time for everything under the sun.
Yeah, it's time to reap, time to sow.
So you have to
Time to
understand
laugh, time to
it's
cry.
times where you have to do the
Time to commit
unthinkable.
evil.
So
Not
you,
commit
I mean,
evil.
so so you have to look at it, and that's why I ask, and who perspective
Okay.
is good and evil lies in.
Okay, so while we talking about whose perspective, what is evil? What is evil?
Once again, it's the eye of the beholder.
We gotta let Jill because she got. The
I mean, you got the definition, but let's be
No,
realistic
I don't
about
have
it.
the
Oh, I thought you had the definition.
I mean,
I have my own
let's
definition.
But like I said, let's be realistic about this situation. Now, are you talking morally?
All right now.
Are you talking society?
Okay.
Oh, look at this man. We gonna have a conversation, a discussion tonight. Go
Are
ahead.
you talking personally?
Okay.
Ooh.
Now there's a lot of different sides to evil, and so we will get
And
into.
there's a lot of different sides to good
Well,
too. So like,
right,
and
but
it's-
just so in a real short, the quick definition is any and all things that could cause pain and suffering.
Harm,
Right.
danger.
Right.
Okay, so when you think
Good
about that, I
could
want
cause
you to.
pain and
but I'm
suffering,
just
too.
getting ready to say. So thinking about your love life.
no, no,
Okay.
that's
Okay,
not it.
but- okay,
so I'm
so
ask
just-
you.
Oh, no! Don't ask me the question yet. Don't ask me the question yet.
Okay, I'll write
so
it down.
what I'm saying when I say that is any and all things, but I want us to think about things from an internal perspective and external. So let's think of the natural, for instance. When we start thinking about the things we see, the things we experience, you just talked about those young men, the
Right.
the Justins.
Yes.
This is what I call them. they are standing up for gun violence right now.
Against
Correct.
Okay.
violence, yes.
It basically, because so many people are being shot, killed, etc.
Right.
That's evil all day. What we
Yes.
see, what we experience. But one of the things I want us to wrap our minds around as we're thinking about evil, and thinking about whether or not it was created. Let's keep in mind that evil is not a noun. You know, it's not a thing.
Right.
It's an action.
Right. You can't put evil right, here. Like,
You
yeah.
can't, it's not tangible.
Yes. And so just with that thought in mind, as you think from a natural perspective, and we think, what is evil? When you hear the word evil, what's the first thing that crosses your mind? What are you thinking? Because I be thinking about the devil. No.
absence of good and absence of God.
Absence of.
I can't say that better.
That's it.
Oh, so that's what y'all say.
Well,
I'm
Absence of
asking a
God.
question. I'm asking a question.
When I
Evil.
hear it
That's
first.
one of my. That's it.
that's the first. But evil also is, I believe, it's a lack of love. And compassion.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, because if I don't have love and compassion, I could do anything to you. But if
Yeah.
I have love and compassion, I will do
Right.
anything for you. So I think evil
Ooh,
is
I
the
like
opposite of love. I think
Yes.
it has a lot of the counterpoints of love because it is to do harm and not to build up. It's to destroy, to take away. And you say in the natural sense. Now, he's going to argue, and I'm just asking, and that's what we think.
I'm not finna argue.
Yeah, you are, because I heard you
Okay.
take that deep breath. But what I'm saying is, you said the natural sense. So the natural sense
natural.
tells us
Yes.
that it's anything that is not of a loving manner. It's the total
Well-
counter opposite of love.
And I just want you to think of the natural disasters. So when I'm saying that, think about how many people are killed. I'm talking about tornadoes, tsunamis, etc., volcanoes, whatever,
Right.
earthquakes. Those things happen right away. What do we begin to question?
God.
Even and look,
Man,
even
Oh,
Christians.
y'all have no idea what
Christians.
I'm about to look up, because I'm
Okay.
finna hit y'all.
Well,
I
I'm
was
just
finna
saying-
hit y'all hard with one thing. And,
You wouldn't let me get it.
I'm
You
not
wouldn't
gonna
me
let you get this.
finish.
I'm sorry, Dr. V, if I'm overbearing tonight. But here's the
Okay,
funny
come on.
part about it. Y'all said it's the absence of love. God destroyed how many cities in the Bible? Come on, Bible scholars. Let's pull them up. Come on.
3.
Bible scholars.
He destroyed three.
3.
And he's all love, right? Let's make it make sense.
We can make it make sense.
Okay,
The
make it
question
make
is,
sense.
Do we have time to?
No.
Okay, I can make it short.
Okay, I was
Can you
gonna
make
say-
it short?
I can
But
make
am
it
I
short.
correct?
You are
He's
correct.
all love, right?
Yes,
But he destroyed 3 cities in the Bible.
There's a reason why. But I want.
I'm listening. Go ahead, Clarence.
Clarence, go
The
ahead.
simple answer is it was a battle of good and evil. It's a battle of right and wrong. The reason he destroyed those cities is because they got outside of his will and what he said was right. That's the biblical, that's the simple answer.
Okay.
So
So was that evil?
Okay.
when your mama whooped you, was it evil?
Let me. Let me.
I can't use the adjective I want to
I'm gonna
use.
say this. I'm
But
gonna
I'm
say
asking,
this.
was that evil on God's part?
Look, I'm going to say this on with that. A lot of things that was happening, sometimes God will step in and it's judgment. So he will use it or he will allow it. And so it's not
Yes.
that he is evil. He is all love. He is all good. But he will allow evil to happen to teach, to train you, to remind you of the things or to help you get yourself back on course.
And that's
so
exactly.
So y'all gonna go there?
well, I mean, that's a fact. That's
I'm saying y'all gonna go that route.
Okay.
So if we
listen.
understand,
At the end of the day, then God gave you free will.
Yes.
that
Exactly.
was what He
Yes.
gave you. And when we make stupid choices and some of the crazy things we choose to do,
Correct.
That's how we end up with evil.
Right, because he created
So-
all things, and he wanted us to have the choice to choose
That's
good
it.
or evil,
Or
so that
evil.
we would choose to be obedient and not be
Yes.
obedient by force,
By law.
because he didn't create us.
That's right.
Just like you just said about
as
the Aztec.
robotic.
Yeah,
Robots.
because He
Just-
could have
just-
forced us.
just like you
Right.
said
Right.
about the
Obedient.
Aztec, what they did, what they felt that they had to do. Am I correct?
It's a difference
Okay,
between a belief
but-
and a force.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, once again, just because you have this belief, is that belief right or wrong?
To
Or is it
believe in-
good or evil?
So, what are you thinking? Are you thinking that God actually is evil?
right.
No, my thing about it, anything on this earth, because he gave the devil the earth to dwell on the earth, and then knowing that the devil is evil, he gave him all dominion on this earth. So at the end of the day, we know what's on this earth is not right. Don't get me to. I can't preach if I wanted
It's
to.
okay, but
But I'm just saying. So I understand what y'all saying, but we understanding. We talking about evil versus good, and once again, it goes back to
I
my
got a
question.
for you. Did God create sin then?
Oh, you think He didn't?
Did He create it?
If He wrote about it and said this is a sin,
No, at the end of the day, even in heaven with the angels, they had a choice.
they had a choice,
And,
and so they
sin
chose
or
the
not.
lighter. They
and
chose
they
the
chose
opposite way.
absolutely, which that's why we have the first sin started in heaven.
He created the
and we
person.
have the fallen angels. That is why. So He didn't create it. We created
created
it.
it.
Just
Who
like
is we?
Just like we continue to create.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question.
sin
You said we
today.
we created sin, but you just said sin happened first in.
in heaven.
Okay,
But
so
what I'm
if
saying,
it happened first
we-
in heaven, how did we create sin?
a fallen nature, because when Satan fell, that was the beginning of the fall, and we continue to keep tripping and falling in the garden, and then that's where we come in. Man began
That's
to
where-
fall.
that's where we-
he
so we-
fell down.
so we
and
created it.
we continue to
So-
fall,
so-
and we continue to
Oh,
fall.
okay. I never read that part, but I'm gonna have to go back.
Well,
and
you
read
better read it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and read it, girl. Don't
You
even
better
worry
read
about
that.
it,
And
because
so-
we're gonna have a whole other conversation about that one.
Listen, this is Neutral Voices in Depth. We are talking about evil versus good, and we're having a pretty in-depth conversation.
He came studied up, so we ready for
He's
this.
ready. So so speaking of the garden, so Adam and Eve, what was the one thing out of everything? And so this is how they fell. Eve, you said prove it.
You said prove it.
You said prove it. How did they fall in the garden? Because at one point they was walking with God and the voice of God in the cool of the day.
Right.
They had no fear. What happened?
What you mean? What happened?
What did God say not to do?
Hey, listen.
And how did they disobey God? What did they
I mean,
do?
they disobeyed him
Right away.
by going to the tree.
Which tree? We got to say it.
The tree of knowledge.
The tree of knowledge,
The knowledge of what?
wisdom.
But that was their
But see,
It was
no,
the
that wasn't their
knowledge of
choice. Don't let's not.
But-
Don't do
Yes,
it. Don't do
Then they
it.
said do not.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
For why?
do not.
Do not touch the
Why?
tree of knowledge.
What was it that God didn't want them to know?
Know all. Know everything that's under the sun. And I
Clarence,
get that.
What is it that God did not want them to know? The knowledge of what?
The knowledge of good and evil.
Okay. He knew the knowledge of good and evil.
So if
We
he
didn't
knew,
need to know.
Oh,
but
so-
because we
oh,
were
it proves-
falling,
it proves my point to what I was saying. If he told them not to touch this tree, it was knowledge of good and evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
So evil was already created before we even touched the earth.
that's because Satan had already.
I'm just saying it was already created. So if it was already created, God already.
Okay, so we having like an in-depth Bible study
So
tonight.
God already had
Okay.
evil, and come on, let's just make it make sense now. Come on. Yeah, I came
there's
guns
a-
blazing
there's a
tonight.
different
I come
evil.
guns blazing.
And so anyway, so that we can continue in this
Okay,
great
let's go to the next one.
conversation.
Let's go
In
to
this
the
great conversation. So
I'll be quiet on this one.
today, so let's just kind of bring it to today. Why? I mean, do you agree that there's more evidence of evil than good? What do you think about that? The things that we're seeing, or is it that the media makes us believe there's more evil, or what are you standing on? when
I'm
it
gonna go
comes to
with
that?
both, and here's why I'm gonna go with both. Here's why I'm gonna go with both, because he did hit on something when he said, where we are in our life. Because think about it. Everything that we at one point in time thought was wrong, immoral, or anything, it's becoming more commonplace.
Yep.
Let's go with from the legalization of alcohol to abortions to the legalization of marijuana to different things that are going on. The commonplace is that the world is changing and it's becoming a different place because of different thoughts and different things like that. Like let's talk about the gun violence, because I see you on that. Now, I know this sounds, it's a cliche. It sounds cliches, but a gun never killed a gun has never killed
Right.
a person.
It's-
A gun, you can lay a gun down, and a gun never initially just kills a person. Who kills a person? A person kills a person. The person that has that gun. So the intent of that person, and that's a good portion of where evil come from, is your intent, it's your thought, it's your heart, it's what you meaning to do. One thing that I find, and I'll stand on this till I die. One thing that I think is evil is child molestation or rape. That is one thing, and I'll stand on that.
There's
I
no
don't care.
way you
There's
can
no way
find
you're going to
a-
sway me
that's
on
right.
it.
You
Child
can't find
molestation,
anything good
no,
in that.
because you may not physically kill anybody,
But
you have destroyed a person and
Okay.
mentally or and whatever. So to me, and I'm gonna stand on this. And you ask me this in 100 years from now, I'm gonna tell you, I believe that child molesters and rapists, it should be a capital crime.
Yes.
I do
Okay.
believe that's an evil crime because
Well,
you are
let's-
intently destroying a person.
Let's
Can I
talk
answer
about
that?
some
Can I answer
real
that
stuff
question?
that's going on. Okay.
I want to
E,
answer
you got
that
a question.
I want to answer.
Oh,
that
you want to
question.
answer a question? Okay.
And Clarence, I totally disagree with you when you say it's both. And I'm gonna say it's
Just in case somebody missed that, both what?
he said,
Is it the media or is it actually happening?
Okay.
as far as good versus evil, is it more good than it is evil? I say it's more good, and I'm gonna tell you why I say it's more good. It's more people in this world with kind hearts that would give their lives to help the next man than it is actually people that's evil.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
No,
and
but it's
sweet.
real.
It sounds.
real.
It sounds.
It's real. I'm
beautiful
gonna
and
tell you
sweet.
why. I'm gonna tell you why it's real.
They may not be.
But here's
They
what her
may not be
question was.
acting on that.
No.
No,
When
but-
I say, and I'm gonna say this, let me finish what I'm saying. The media only depicts out the
That's where I was
things
gonna go with
that would scare us and keep us under control.
Yes.
Yep.
So if I only give you the things that's gonna keep you scared and under control, and I know this what it is,
Okay.
that's what I'm gonna put in your face all
Yes,
day.
that's true.
Versus all the good that the people in the world that's out here doing. They might sprinkle a little good here, sprinkle, but it's more good that's happening in this world than it is evil.
Okay,
It's
so
the
let's talk
media.
about the internet and social media and connect it to what you're saying. So we got the media on TV and we can see that, but we have things that we can actually control. We can manipulate with our thumb. We can
Correct.
scroll past that. A lot of times we choose to look at, for instance, we could be talking about a million positive things. People will not click, share, subscribe,
There you
like,
go.
or anything. But I guarantee you, if one of us do something bad on the panel, do something horrible,
If we broke
right
out-
here,
if we broke out in a
we
fight.
would get any of that, or start using foul languages, and we start showing butts and boobs and different things like that. I guarantee you, the number of subscribers would increase. People like looking at evil things.
They
And
like
you
looking at
think about how
disorder.
many times people share
Yeah.
those types
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
I don't care how terrible it is. So when you think about social media in the relationship with evil, you see more evil, or you see what's going on with that? Social media, the internet, the great web.
You see more evil because once again, like you said, they would rather see a fight than a decent conversation.
Yeah.
They would rather see a female twerking
Yes,
than a female sitting on having an intellectual conversation.
Absolutely.
that's right.
They would rather see two men shoot each other than have Clarence have a decent man-to-man conversation.
And that crosses cultures.
Yeah, and even if we are in a heated discussion where we about to fight, they'll click on and watch and be like, okay, they ain't about to do nothing because cooler heads have prevailed and they're having that conversation, so they're gonna move right past us.
That's right.
And we live in such a, like, especially with the youth, they are all engulfed in likes equals love and shares equals value. So, when you talk about morality, I'm going to take it back to that question, since I couldn't get, So, where do we get our, ideas of morality from? Growing up, I got a lot of my ideals of morality from my parents or from religion. So these our youth coming up, their idea of morality maybe didn't come from those things. And if you are of the younger generation and you see what will generate likes or loves or whatever, what are you going to share? So all you're doing is making that contagious. And it's pretty bad when we post on our page and we have to say, here's some good news to share,
Right.
because we have to put that in front of it. And when we do, maybe we get one or two likes. And like E was saying, you could have 1,000 people in Fort Wayne giving away free food that they made out of their garden that they grew. But you're going to hear about the shooting that happened the night before. They're just not going to tell us about it.
And that's why I'm talking. And you mentioned the young people. There's so many things going on. The young people, and we talked about parents having to, instead of secure the bag, check your child's bag, know what they're dealing with and what they're into, because you might find a Ouija board. You might find some what's those cards? The tarot cards. Some type of voodoo and witchcraft, because these young people, truthfully, not just young people, but a lot of times they are misled. And we talked about being manipulated.
Right.
And Jill, you just talked about parenting and what they used to teach, and maybe they coming from a certain background, religion. But guess what? What about the ones that choose to do the religion or hopping from religion to religion, and then they lose themselves, or they have an individualized, self-made religion, and now they're lost in the world, so they're seeking something. And Satan is on the move, and I just want to make sure we get that out there, because we're talking about evil. And I want us to know it's not all these other things, because Ephesians 6:12 says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers in high places and principalities and those things.
Darkness of the world.
There's in darkness of the world. And I didn't quote that to the T, but I know the scripture.
It's in there.
But I want you to know that if you believe, everybody don't believe in the same God.
Yeah.
Everybody believe in the Bible. But I just want us to know that there is a higher power that we're wrestling with and we're dealing with when you talk about
And
I got a
can I? I'm gonna give you your space,
Real
but
quick,
I want
this
to go with Doc V on that. The reason being, think about, we talking about the media and all that. Air, and E hit it on the first one. It's in the air. The devil is the prince of the air. E hit on that.
Yeah,
So
principle of evil.
That putting it in the air.
Yes.
And it's in the air. That gives him the power. That says in the Bible, he's the prince of the air. Yeah. So that gives him the power. So the things that he controls is the air, the airwaves. Let's go there. The air when we speak these things and put them in the air. So yes, it's when we put them out in the air. That's when the evil is,
And
perpetuating
it
and it flies.
Enters our ear gates and our
It's in the
eyes
existence.
and, yes, our hearts.
I got a
etc.
question for the panel, and this is, I'm just gonna be real blunt about what I'm finna say. I could care less.
But in short, this is
Yeah,
Future Voices.
I'm gonna tell you like
Thank
this.
you for tuning in.
I don't care if you like it. Just enjoy your night. Church, good or evil.
Depends on the church.
Depends on the
Depends
church
on the message.
and the leader of the
No.
church.
Let's look at it. I mean,
Here he goes.
yes,
We got
I'm
3
finna.
minutes left. And
Yeah, I'm finna. Church and religion, and let's be realistic about it.
Church and religion are two different things.
Okay, we gonna start with the religion.
Okay.
Religion. Everybody follow all. We read out the same Bible. Got 1,000 different religions, right? I'm gonna keep it real short. Now, you talk about the tarot reading and all that, and the palm reading and all that.
All of the stuff.
Yeah, and they do a lot of prophesying in church. That's one of the same.
Well, that's another. We're gonna save that for
Oh,
another
okay.
show. We're gonna save that for another show because before
And it really, we really out of time. But I got
ladies
the
and
conversation.
gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen,
We got tomorrow.
Put a pin in that one. 'Cause I gotta
Hey, Clarence, I'm gonna make you thought today.
No,
I'm gonna make you thought on this one.
But I got to pay for that. Go ahead, Doc.
what and where? Listen, the topic was too big. It was too big for us to get in the time span. But what and where is the good today, and how do we magnify the good? So let's make sure we leave on a good note. So can I get one person to share what is some good stuff besides the flower in the sunshine? Somebody.
Simple. I'm just gonna keep it real.
Real
You
good.
when you get up in the morning,
Yes. being
and you
alive.
touch down and you touch your feet on the ground.
Okay.
That's good.
And if the first thing me personally, I'm just gonna go with me. First thing I say every morning, thank you.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
good.
And
That's good. Jill?
I just think that there's love every day, from the stranger smiling at the gas station to somebody holding open the door,
Absolutely.
to being able to go to work. Like, love every day.
Love every
There's
day.
love in every day. Yes.
That is it. And as we are getting ready to exit, is there one final thing you want to say, Clarence?
No, I'm good. I think we said
You're good.
yes, I'm
So
really
we're
good.
talking about, we were talking about evil versus good. Evil was first because we feel like it's so rampant and needed to be discussed, but this definitely needed to be a part 2
We
show.
gotta come back on
but
this one.
I just want to remind you that evil exists based on and because of our having free will and the choices we make at the end of the day. So we can change the evil if we choose to. This is Neutral Voices. Thank you for joining us tonight. And as we always say,
Always protect your mind.
protect your mind.
What it be, what it be, what it be.